Let's take our development further. Right now, to enter the data into the first name and the rest of the fields, let's get back to the UiPath. For that, we have got few activities in UiPath. That's type into. Type into activity will help us to enter some data into a field available on some UI. This is the type into activity, and in the properties we can see continue on error, which can be set to true or false. If this activity fails, it will throw an error. If you want to continue, even if there is an error, you can set it to true. You can just type true over here or just leave it. After that, if you want to introduce some delay after the click, you can directly put it over here. It will be in milliseconds. You can just read about the description if you over it. And similarly, delay before. And display name, whatever the display name we can give it right here. And there is a target that we can see. We can give selectors, timeout, wait for ready. So whenever we are dealing with some UI, we might want it to be performed when some scripts have loaded completely or when they are just interactive enough to operate on them. Okay, this is the text that we want to enter. If we want this particular activity to be private, we can click on private. And if you want to activate that particular UI on which we are performing, we can activate it. If we want to click on that particular element before typing, we can do that by checking it. Similarly, if you want to enter some delay between the keys, you can just introduce the delay by providing the time in milliseconds. If you want to clear the field and then enter something, then you can just create the values here, if boolean values true or false. And these are something that I will show you in the later sessions. These are the things that are used to enter something in the background. Okay, yeah, coming back to this, it expects something called a selector. What is a selector? Whenever we have something on the UI, as a human being, we can have a look at it and see that this is a first name field where we have to enter the first name, and this is last name, and similar to that the other fields. But how does a robot or some computer understands it? So this form is being built by using different attributes. It can be HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and many of such kind. Okay, basically it identifies these elements based on those particular attributes. If I just click on indicate on screen, okay, see those fields are being highlighted if you have installed Chrome, right? I'm just clicking on this. If I click on this and move on to properties and go on to selector, I can see there are few fields. Okay, the first layer of it is showing the application is Chrome. The header is HR onboarding, as we can see HR onboarding. After that, this has a control ID with first name. The tag is input. So this particular field has an ID, unique ID, which is first name, which comes under this particular title. That is how the UiPath robot is able to identify it. Okay, so that's how we pass the selector. So it's the first name for us. So I'm just renaming it. Type into the first name and I'm giving it as Sharath. I'm just clicking on save all. Let me run it once and see what happens. So it has tried to type Sharath over there. Similarly, we have to drag few more activities to to enter the other fields.